As the transcontinental railroad traveled far west, the Native American people weren't treated the best. At first, the federal government had a quick fix. Put them on reservations, have them mingle and mix. They realized that they couldn't leave the natives to their own devices. That meant a large government crisis. In 1887, the Dawes Act was passed. That meant the children had to go to class. They were taught English, manners, and farming in school, dropped their native ways in order to be cool. The Indians were split up into separate homes, not to mention all the bison were now disposed. That Indian forced to change their looks, then they had to hit the books. The Carlisle school taught them the white man's way. Instead of hunting, they learned all day. Nowhere to go or anywhere to turn, and forced to learn things that they didn't want to learn. The Indian question wasn't being answered. Their cries for help were simply just not heard. From long houses, reservations, and lived in homesteads, the Indians were left with a pile of bison heads. They tried to get around this any way they could, hunting and gathering instead of chopping firewood. Forced to live in family unions, there was no light at the end of the tunnel or an answer to get through it. The Dawes Act was creating separate plots of land, but all they wanted was the government to understand at the end of the day, the Dawes Act had been wrong. The Carlisle school didn't help them get along. The bison were dead for fertilization. The Indians seemed to always be forgotten in this nation. The Transcontinental Railroad did a lot of good, but the Indians were sadly just misunderstood.